What is good, old Cyrus here, stuck in the middle. And the Disney conversation has been heated up. We've gone from the Parental Rights Act or bill in Florida to the Florida legislation passing something I didn't think it was going to go through. I thought they were just bluffing. So Ron DeSantis supporters, if you don't know, Ron DeSantis and in company, he's got a trifecta in Florida. Keep that in mind. He's got the legislative branch on both sides and himself, so they can pass legislation with a swiftness. And that's what happened here. DeSantis passed some legislation, and it came fast. It came fast. And DeSantis supporters are all walking around with their chest poked out. And I'm talking about people like Matt Walsh. I'm talking about people from the right or non-left that they want DeSantis over Trump. They're walking around with their chest poked up like, see, I told you, look what this dude's doing right now. Impressive. I have to admit, when you look at Ron DeSantis, even though he has the trifecta, what he's been able to accomplish is beyond impressive. He's making a case for whatever you want him to be. He's a boss right now. I think he makes the most sense to stay in Florida. But the Florida House of Representatives on Thursday gave final passage to a bill that would dissolve Walt Disney World's private government, handing Republican Ron DeSantis a victory in his feud with the entertainment giant over its opposition to a measure that critics have dubbed the Don't Say Gay law. The move could have huge tax implications for Disney and the citizens around there, too, whose series of theme parks have transformed Orlando into one of the world's most popular tourist destinations, and serves to further sour the relationship between the Republican-led government and a major political player in the state. I said that this right here, if you don't see that we are in the middle of a civil war, then you're not paying attention. Again, it's not war, it's not tanks and guns and all that. Prayers up. Thankfully, it's not. That's what this is. And I'm going to end with Jenna Ellis. And I think the Jenna Ellis take, it's a good conversation to have. And she thought this was a little bit, I think she thought it was a little bit unsavory. And I disagree with her, but the discussion is great. And I like Jenna Ellis a lot. This is a rare time where I strongly disagree with her, but the discussion, wait for that, is great. For DeSantis, the attack on Disney is his latest salvo in the culture war waged over policies such as race, gender, and pandemic, battles that have turned him into one of the most popular GOP politicians in the country. He's rising. When you look at substance, he's got infinite more substance than Trump as far as like being able, because he's on the state level, being able to get things passed through. I mean, obviously, when you're in the federal level, it's going to be much harder. But DeSantis is like, if you got me, basically, he can make the case. If you got me to D.C. and you get me a supermajority, then things will get done. And they will get done with the swiftness. So it's a strong case. What I would say is, for this battle, and I always cringe with Matt Walsh, because DeSantis is coming like a boss. Now, every day he's got a new piece of legislation that's like, whoa, great. For those Matt Walshes out there who they love to say no more Trump, look at this, look at DeSantis, just let the dude wait. Why are you trying to do a civil war for 2024? Maybe Trump doesn't run. Who knows? That's a possibility. But you're trying to propose a civil war, alpha v alpha. I joked the other day. I said, could you imagine Donald Trump as DeSantis's vice president? It's just funny to even think of that. Like DeSantis is the one up there talking about, DeSantis is the one doing the Trump hands, because he does do Trump hands. I played that clip. He does Trump hands a lot, just like Trump. And that'd be funny if DeSantis was up there doing his Trump hands and Trump was off to the side like Kamala is right now, just looking. That obviously could never happen. But in Matt Walsh's world, he would probably be like, yeah, let Trump go do whatever, like Biden, when Biden was Obama's vice president. So if you don't know, Disney had damn near their own government. I didn't know their whole complex down there in Florida was literally like their own government. So basically they could charge taxes, take tax income, and it basically worked out where they were tax free. And I don't know if it's all going away. I have to dig more into it to find out like what exactly is changing, but it looks like it's going away. They've had this for since the 60s, I believe it is. This Reedy Creek Improvement District. So they were planning on building like homes and stuff over there. They are doing that in other areas of the country, but they didn't fully build it up down there, but they still got all this stuff. The creation of the Reedy Creek Improvement District and the control it gave Disney over 27,000 acres in Florida was a crucial element in the company's plans to build near Orlando in the 60s. Company officials said they needed autonomy to plan a futuristic city along with the theme park. The city never materialized. However, instead it morphed into the Epcot theme park. So they never turned it into the city like they thought, but they got the powers. And even if you were going to turn it into a city, I'm not sure. I mean, I like the libertarian argument of this. The libertarian argument is give everybody those powers and get the hell out the way. But that's not happening. So you can't prefer Disney. I don't even know how that's constitutional. I'm not a constitutional expert, but I don't know how you can prefer. Like if I start a business in Florida, I'm at a disadvantage to Walt Disney. How's that work? I don't know, but it's gone now. Now there's some reports that the residents there are going to have to pick up the tax burden on that. That's up to them. They vote for their representatives. Either they're okay with that or they're not. Who am I to decide? I say if I were in their situation and I could afford it, then I would sacrifice it to say Disney doesn't have these superpowers. Now let me end with this. This is the real good discussion. This is a little bit different than where a lot of other people were going with this. Cat Turd, this has been going on since before this, but Cat Turd today said it's time for Disney to pay their fair share. Jenna Ellis, I believe, rose to fame, obviously, because of the Trump lawsuits and, at the end of 2020. And she is, if you look at her bio here, just to look at her bio before, if you don't know who she is, she's a devoutly religious. I don't know exactly. I don't want to describe her religion, but she was on with, she's with Newsmax sometimes. She was the former senior legal and advisor to President Trump. So she put herself at risk to do that, at the end of the, year when the election came on. She put a risk because they're disbarring people and attacking people. If you had anything to do with Trump, if you don't say that you hate Trump, you're in danger. And that goes for you watching this video too. If you say that, hey, I'm not MAGA, but I don't hate Trump, you are politically in danger. You're just not the first person they're going to go after. It depends on how much reach you have, but she took a risk. So she said in response to this is what leftists say about churches who exercise freedom of speech. DeSantis in Florida should not retaliate against Disney's right to speak. And it was off-putting to me at first because I was confused. I was like, so a business could speak out against their state reps and get immunity from legislation that would negatively affect them? If she's saying this is a First Amendment thing. So what she's saying is Disney spoke out against the parental rights bill in Florida. And then she's saying the Florida representatives did this in retaliation. So Jenna's saying you shouldn't do that. And I'm a little unclear of where she is. She's a constitutional lawyer, I believe. So she's got to be I will give her criticism here. I know it's Twitter, but she's done a lot of tweets. She's got to be clearer. Because she's a constitutional, constitutional attorney, I believe. Well, regardless of what she is specifically, she's a lawyer. So you've got to say, are you saying this is a legal problem or a constitutional problem? Because you're bringing up the First Amendment, right to speak. That's 1A. So when you say that, are you saying it's unconstitutional? Or are you just saying morally it's wrong? And I think she's just saying morally it's wrong. She couldn't be making a constitutional argument, because if I'm a business, say I'm a business in California and I'm Tesla, and I would say, hey, this California bill allowing critical theory in schools is terrible, and I'm Elon Musk and I say that, Are you saying, Jenna, that California can't do laws that would negatively affect, as long as they're constitutional laws, that doesn't correlate? Even though you might think in your head, is it retaliation? Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't, but it's not unconstitutional. So I said, if Jenna's just talking about morals, I get it. If she's talking constitutionally or legally, I don't know what the hell she's talking about. But people got hung up when she said church. She wasn't calling Disney a church. She's just using it as an example. I'm just trying to see if she had any other replies. Yeah, so no, I disagree with her, but I think it is a good discussion. So let me end with this. If the Florida representatives, let's just do DeSantis to make it simple. If DeSantis did this only because, and it can appear that way, he would have to speak on it. If he did this only because Disney went against the bill, then I would agree with Jenna. I'm not for that. If you're doing it strictly, who's going to prove that though? Unless he says that. And even if he said that, I don't think it would be a problem. So who's to say what's a retaliation, what's not? It comes across that way for sure. But then in this situation, Disney was getting special rights. So it's not like it was neutral with Disney and then they did a bill that said Disney's got to pay more taxes. Obviously that would be, sued to high heaven for that. You can't do that. So it wasn't that. So I think Jenna failed a little bit on that, but I think I see what her point is. Her point is morally, and it's very similar to what I said about Jesse Kelly when he said, oh, Taylor Lorenz doxed the family of libs of TikTok. Oh, so if you need help doxing the family of Taylor Lorenz, I can assist. He might have been joking or not, but I didn't find it funny. I was like, no, I'm not doing that. So I think she's coming on that angle, but it's a lot more murkier with her example. But this Disney stuff is for real, man. I did not think it was going to go through. This is it. I mean, Disney, I don't think Disney's going to move. It'll be a hell of a cost. Maybe they would. I don't know. Disney's got a lot going on. Their stock's dropping. We're in the middle of something. I don't know what you want to call it, but we're in the middle of something. Let me know what you think.